Thank you for your interest in learning more about Youngstown State University. My name is Bill D'Amico, a recruiter from the Office of Admissions, and throughout this presentation, I'm going to cover as much as I can about all the different areas of the university. In front of you are some of those topics. If you'd like to take a virtual campus tour or attend any of our virtual programs, go to visit.ysu.edu. Before I jump into the presentation, I'd like to show you a brief video on why our students are Y and proud.
You're here to be part of something bigger, to make things happen. For you, college is about knowledge being shared and learning experiences that aren't limited to the classroom. On campus, you want to matter. It's about engaging every day, building relationships with students, with mentors, with the community, in the heart of a reinvented city. We are that something bigger. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
And there really are a lot of reasons for our students to be proud. There are so many great things going on campus. Just to give you a brief overview of the university, Youngstown State University is classified as a mid-sized Division I urban research institution. Some of the things I like about the university is we get to pull from the benefits of being a larger institution with Division I sports, over 115 different academic programs, over 200 plus student organizations, research, service grants, all the things you'd expect to find at a larger institution. But at the same time, we get to pull from the benefits of being a smaller institution as well. As you can see, our average class size is 26 students. So it's going to feel a lot like a high school size class where your faculty and staff will actually call you out by name. So you're not going to be lost in a sea of people. So again, you get the benefits of coming to a larger institution, but the intimacy of a small class size. There are three areas that are going to make up your Y experience here at Youngstown State. First and foremost is academics. So we have 5 different academic colleges that have over 115 different academic programs. We have such a wide variety of programs that you could get interested in and involved in. For example, we have a School of Business, we have engineering, we have nursing, we have dental hygiene, we have sports broadcasting, art, music, theater, education. I mean, really, there is something for everybody. Maybe you're a student out there who's not entirely sure what they want to study. Well, that's okay. You have 115 different choices, and you can actually come in as an undetermined student and throughout your first few semesters here, explore those different fields to see what's a good fit. Aside from our academic programs, we have a lot of research and experiential learning opportunities. So we're really big on not only you gaining the theory in the classroom, but actually practicing that out in the real world. So whether you're doing research alongside our faculty members, whether you're in an internship or co-op, whether you're involved in our honor societies, doing philanthropy out there, there's so many different ways for you to get experiential learning that kind of coincides with what you're learning in the classroom. We also have a great honors college, so students that have a 3.5 GPA and above and either a 26 ACT or 1240 SAT can apply to the honors college. The honors college is really great. It's a really close-knit group of students. There's a living learning community cohort component to that. There's additional faculty involvement, special lectures, philanthropy, and above all else, and a nice cherry on top is there's a bunch of scholarships that are tied in with the honors college as well, which we'll talk about here in the future slides. Aside from academic, there are a lot of support services. So once we get you enrolled, it's not like we just say, hey, we'll see at the end of all this with a degree. There's a lot of support along the way. And a lot of that support does start with your academic advisors. So similar to your school counselors at the high school level, these professionals will make sure that you're on track to graduate in 4 years. And you're going to want to meet with them early and often just to make sure that you're taking the proper courses and staying on track. We also have a variety of other support services in front of you. So like the Office of Career Exploration and Development, they do mock interviews, they do job fairs, they do resume workshops. If you come in undetermined, they'll work with you to help you figure out a program that's appropriate. Student counseling services. So if you ever need to talk with a licensed counselor, we have them available. If you are on IEP and need additional test taking time, we have accessibility resources that are here. We have the RESH Academic Success Center that offers free tutoring and advisement, and we have the Reading and Study Skills Writing Center, Math Assistance Center. As you can see, there's so many different support areas. If there's ever anything that you need, make sure you seek out these departments. They're more than happy to help. And then we also have a lot of really great student life opportunities. And there's just so much that you can get involved in. Just to give you a quick overview, as I mentioned in the introduction, we are a Division I school. So if you're interested in sports, ysusports.com, check it out. You can check out coaching information and rosters. If you're like me and maybe you're not at the Division I level, but you like sports, there's club and intramural sports. We have campus rec. We have the Andrews Recreation and Wellness Center. It's a beautiful facility on campus with a 53-foot climbing wall and a basketball courts, spinning classes, yoga, tons of free weights and lifting equipment. There's really something for everybody there. Now, maybe you're more of a spectator. You get free season tickets to all of our athletic events on and around campus, which is great. There's Greek life, there's student government, there's honor societies, there's religious clubs and organizations, there's student employment. There's so many different ways for you to be involved in student life. And without getting on a soapbox, I just want to say in general, college is going to be 100% what you make of it. And I am an alum of Youngstown State University. I loved my courses here that I took. But honestly, when I think back to my experience, it's not just the courses, it's everything else that I did. It's being involved in Greek life, doing the internships, the different conferences I went to. All of that stuff makes up your Y experience. So just make sure that you take advantage of this opportunity. College is going to be the chance for you to completely reinvent yourself, and there's so many great opportunities. Come in, take advantage, and again, you're going to leave with a lot of really great memories. All right. I just want to briefly go over residence life. Youngstown State University does not require students to live on campus, not their first year, not all 4 years. It's totally up to you. You can see that we do have a lot of residence life options. We have YSU halls. The YSU halls listed are those that are covered in room and board costs that I'm going to cover here in a second. But we have a lot of other options, and these other options are on and around campus. They're independently owned. So only YSU students can live there. They're more apartment style, so 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms. You may have your own bathroom, a kitchen. Those are not included in the room and board costs, so you would essentially pay tuition to YSU, and then you'd pay essentially rent to those facilities. I do want to mention while we're on this slide that all students are allowed to have cars at Youngstown State University as early as your freshman year. If you live in a YSU hall, you'll have a special permit for a residence lot. If you live in another option or you commute, you'll have access to the mixed lots around campus. All right. Youngstown State University really prides itself on affordability, so I'm going to cover the cost of attendance and then ways to curb those costs. So first and foremost, I want to talk about tuition and fees. So we have two different tuition categories. We have the in-state tuition rate, and then we have the out-of-state tuition rates. So if you're in-state, you're going to be looking at the red columns, and if you're out-of-state, you're going to be looking at gold. So in front of you are the base tuition rates that come to Youngstown State University. You'll see both a commuter cost and a resident cost. So the first thing I want to say is in-state students, we are one of the most affordable tuition values in the state of Ohio. If you're an Ohio resident, if you live out of state, you're noticing that you're only charged a $360 difference to an Ohio state, which makes us extremely affordable for our out-of-state students as well. If you're looking at the total commuter cost, that cost there is strictly tuition. So that's 2 semesters full-time. A full-time student takes between 12 and 18 credit hours. So it's the same rate if you're taking 12 credit hours versus 18 credit hours. The total resident cost at the bottom, that includes your annual room and board fee. So that's going to give you a room in a YSU hall, a meal plan, cable, laundry, internet. Everything's pretty much tied into that. The only fees pretty much outside of these costs is books. Those are not included. I do want to mention that we have what's called the Penguin Tuition Promise at Youngstown State University. And essentially what that is that the cohort of students that you come in with, so if you're coming in for fall of 2022, you're actually going to be locked into these tuition rates for 4 academic years. So let's say your sophomore or junior year, the university's tuition goes up. It will not go up for your cohort. So that's really great. The tuition cost that you come in at is going to be locked in for your full 4 years. Those are the base costs. There are a lot of ways to curb costs. The first one I want to talk about is the Freshman Excellence Scholarships. So these Freshman Excellence Scholarships are admission-based scholarships. No separate application is required for these scholarships. You can see that the first opportunity is our entry-level Freshman Excellence Scholarship. It is for students that have a 3.0 GPA and either a 19 ACT or 990 SAT. If you have the GPA and one of the test score requirements, you are automatically going to get $1,000 per year. And all of these scholarships here are renewable for 3 additional years as long as you have 24 academic hours per academic year, which is essentially 12 credit hours per semester, and then a 3.0 GPA and above. So you need to maintain a 3.0 to renew your scholarship. And you can see as the criteria increases, so does the award amount. Clear to our trustees scholarship, if you are a valedictorian, so ranked number 1 or tied number 1 in your class, you automatically are awarded $5,000 a year regardless of your test scores. Aside from the freshman excellence scholarships, there are a lot of other scholarships out there. I mentioned honors before. If you have a 3.5 GPA and either a 26 ACT or 1240 SAT, you can apply for the Honors College. There's a bunch of scholarships tied in with the Honors College that they award out. If you're recruited to play Division I sports, there's athletic scholarships. There's 700 plus scholarships on our financial aid webpage. I'd highly recommend checking that out. But those are like departmental-based grants and other awards that are out there. And I'll mention, our admission requirements a little bit, but we do also offer some test optional scholarships that are not listed here. So, aside from the scholarships, I basically want to mention that we also can accept need-based aid, so fill out the FAFSA, get that information to us, and also work with the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships. They're going to try to maximize as much as they can as far as scholarships and grants so that, again, you leave with as little to no debt as possible. All right, so last but not least, I want to walk you through the admissions timeline and kind of go through all the steps you need to become a YSU Penguin. The first thing you need to do is fill out an application. So essentially, it's an online application. You'd go to apply.ysu.edu, fill out the application. There is a $45 application fee. You do not need to pay the application fee if you attended College Credit Plus here at Youngstown State University. We also accept fee waivers, so if you're on a free reduced lunch plan, talk with your school counselor and have them send over a fee waiver. So in addition to the application and the fee, we need your high school transcripts. If you're currently a senior in high school, we would need completion of your junior year. If you've already graduated, we would need your final high school transcripts. So you'd submit, again, your high school transcripts. And then there's that little subcircle. If you've taken AP or IB classes or the CLEP test, we're more than happy to give you credit for those, but we do need the official scores. If you're interested in seeing what those scores are, if you go to ysu.edu and search, let's say AP, you'll see that scores of 3 and above will come in for college credit. And then ACT or SAT is actually optional. We are test optional, clear until spring of 2023 right now. So you're not required to submit those. You did see the scholarship requirements before, so if you want to, again, be, awarded any of those freshman excellence scholarships, we will need the ACT or SAT scores, but we are test optional for admission, and there are test optional scholarships as well. And then college transcripts. So if you are, doing, as I mentioned, College Credit Plus, or if you're doing dual enrollment through another university, we're more than happy to give you college credit for those, but we do need the official college transcripts to be sent, unless you took those classes at YSU, in which case we can look in our own system. But any other transcripts that you have outside of the university, please have those sent in. So again, the application and then your transcripts essentially is going to complete your application. Test scores are optional, and then transcripts, if you don't have dual enrollment work, you obviously won't be sending anything in. So that will complete your application. Just to give you an idea of what the deadlines are, so for fall of 2022, the priority deadline is February 15th. That's a priority deadline because if you get everything in by that date, you will be able to maximize your scholarship awards, and that is typically when we start opening up orientation, so you'll be one of the first students to be able to register for an orientation. It's also nice if you hit the February 15th priority deadline, because as you can see, if you want to come in for summer, let's say you want to get like a jump start on coming in, starting your fall freshman year, you will meet the summer deadline, and we do have students that take classes at YSU in the summer, so by hitting February 15th, you will have that option. Requirements. What does Youngstown State University look for in admission? Well, just to give you an idea, our average GPA at Youngstown State for our incoming class is around a 3.5. Our average ACT was around a 22. Our average SAT was around a 1080. You saw what our scholarship requirements are. Technically, under our general admission requirements, we can accept students with as low as a C average, as long as you have a C average in your core classes. That's English, math, science, social studies, and foreign language, a 17 on the ACT, or 920 on the SAT. If you are below those requirements, you will go forward for a committee review where they're going to look closer at grade trends, rigor, subscores, and they're going to determine admissibility there. I also want to mention that we are test optional, so if you haven't taken the ACT or SAT, we will put you through a test optional review. We're a bit more picky with test optional because now we don't have test scores to look at, so you need to have at least a B to BC average to be admitted to the university, and we're looking at B to BC average in your core classes. So it's English, math, science, social studies, and foreign language. I always recommend students get your application in. We are going to look at you in several different ways to determine admissibility. We'll put you through whatever review makes the most sense. But ultimately, we do want to make sure that you are ready and prepared to be successful here at the university. After being accepted, you will be placed into a starting point in both English, composition, and mathematics. Depending on your subscores on the ACT or SAT, or if you were test optional and you didn't take those tests, you may be required to take placement test. Placement testing is important because we're trying to get you into the highest starting point in both composition and mathematics as possible. So that is your chance. Like, let's say you're a pretty high student, maybe a 3.5 GPA. You've done really well in English, but for some reason you just don't do well on the ACT and you end up having to take placement tests. That will give you the opportunity to place into a level that is more suitable for you. So again, we look at a lot of different factors for placement. We look at the subscores of the ACT. If you have any dual enrollment work that comes in or AP credits, we'll look at that. But ultimately, you may be taking placement tests. So I always recommend going to ysu.edu/testing to learn more about placement testing. And after that, you will come to campus for a YSU orientation. Orientations are really great. You're going to be connecting with a smaller cohort of incoming students. You're going to get your YSU ID. You're going to go to a bunch of different sessions to learn about the university. But most importantly, orientation is when you meet with your advisor and you schedule your classes. I always recommend getting into the earliest orientation date possible because the most amount of classes will be available. So I wasn't really a morning person coming to college. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to take any 8 o'clock classes. I got into an early orientation and I didn't have to start the class till 10 a.m., which was awesome. Maybe you only want to take classes a couple days a week. Maybe you get hangry around 11 and you want a break. College, you get to pick and choose when your classes are, and getting into the earliest orientation will give you the most variety of classes to pick from. So I would always recommend getting into the earliest orientation possible. Those are the 3 steps to becoming a YSU Penguin, and that is pretty much everything I can pack into this time as possible. If you have any questions, please let us know. You can email us at enroll@ysu.edu, or call us 330-941-2000. Visit our webpage. I'd also strongly recommend coming for a physical visit to campus. There's nothing that can really substitute physically coming here, checking out the campus, seeing if it's the right fit. Youngstown State University is an absolutely beautiful campus. We're affordable. We have tons of different academic programs. I really feel like it's important for you to come see for yourself. So thank you so much for attending this session. If there's anything else we can do, please let us know.